Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I actually realized something here. And this has actually made it a little bit more easier for me to set this ring together. Now, the reason my ring, or the top turnbuckle posts, look a little jag-edged is because this one's kind of out. It happens because of the cage parts on there. But anyways, besides that, I mean, I can try to push it down a little bit. Semi-pushed it down. But anyways, a thing that I realized is some parts of the cage actually fits on the bottom part of the ring better than other parts, which is really weird to say, but it's the truth actually. Some of these parts, like this side, fit real well and it went in real quickly. This side right here went in pretty well. And then this side, not fat, but this side fitted in there real well. So it's like, some parts of the cage fits in there real well than other parts. Makes no sense, I know, but still. And I'm gonna try to put this last part on here to prove it, because this part wasn't actually that bad to put on. And I don't know if it's because that the last time I had the parts on there differently, they still went on, but yeah, it was a little bit more harder to put on. The last parts. So, but however though, even though this part right here is broken, I'm not going to be able to really put it together, this part. But still, on the other end though, this was actually a little bit easier to put on with this part. Now this is the door accessory part, the fake door that you can't really open. But, yeah, so that's another thing, too. Just try to move around the parts. See if one part of the cage goes on there easier than, let's say this part, there goes on. Because that's what I had to do. I had to switch around some of the cage parts and make sure that, okay, am I actually doing this right? I calmed down a little bit instead of getting all pissy-wissy and, but, yeah, I'm not going to be able to do it on video because I still got to push the ends in, but it did go in a little bit better. And another thing, too, that I want to tell you is, I don't know if I'll be able, but, like, for example, if I can try to match it up with the end there, I don't think I will be able to, but, for example, try going from this end. If you can go from this end, get it sitting in there from this end, and then you could push in from this end, like push it in so it's snapped in. You could try that as well. That's another thing that helped me out. Or, for example, try, leveling it. I don't know if I'll be able to, but try leveling it from, like, this end, and then try pushing this end in. I know it's kind of hard to really show, because it's really hard to do, but yeah, that's one thing as well, is I leveled it on this side, so yeah, this side sticking out. This side I have, pushed in like that. And then this side I came, kind of closed it a little bit, then pushed it in. That was actually easier to do on some of the parts, working on one side, getting it leveled real good, then working on the other. Sometimes it was harder, so I'm like, okay, let's pop this off. Let me pop it off, and then I pop it off. Then I'm like, okay, let's twist this end, like have this end sticking out. Level this end right here, then push this other end in. Stuff like that. Again though, what I ended up doing was moving some of the cage parts around. Like, at first this part was on this side, and this part was on that side, and it was really hard to put together, and then I just kept moving the parts around, and surprisingly, it was easier to put on some of the parts. It was easier to put on, on the ring, but, yeah, the first time around, I just tried to fucking, just slap it all together, and I didn't care about moving the parts around, and, now that I realized, maybe you gotta put some of the parts around and everything, so. But, yeah. Anyways, this one's actually a 2 cage part. There's a fake cage part right there. I don't know if you can see. This is a fake cage part. Huh. Anyways, though, besides that, that's really about it. Got a little easier. I know it's kind of hard to say, but again, just try to end up, moving some of the parts around. Like, for example, this cage part on this side. If it's hard, I ended up moving it from this side to this side, and then I put this piece that was over here originally to over there. And this piece surprisingly just went on. I originally tried to put this piece over there. It wouldn't work. But, yeah, besides that, though, Another thing, again, that really helped me out is pushing this piece in and then clapping that piece in, or pushing this piece in and clapping that piece in. Let me try to end up showing you what I mean. I hope my video doesn't cut off. I really hope it doesn't. I need to get a better fucking camera, first of all. I don't know how I'm gonna record this. My camera, sadly, doesn't like to really stand up. If the video ends, sorry, ladies and gentlemen, please stand up. Alright, if the video ends, I'm sorry. If it somehow gets cut off, I'm sorry. But, then another thing is, too, remember the little clips. There's, like, little clips. I don't know if I'm catching that on camera. But there's these little clips. Push those into the clips on the side here. Again, let me see the camera to really show you. There's these little clip ends that you got to shove into here. So, like, example, let's flip this thing around. Or, yeah, let's flip it around. And, wait, that's backwards. I'm sorry. Let's flip it around. There we go. And you got to push, this piece inside of there. Got to line it up, push it inside of there. So, yeah, make sure you do that, too. Sometimes you got to push those little ends in, and that will even help. You push those little ends in, and that will even help. But, let me try to get my phone up again. Once again, if the video ends, sorry, ladies and gentlemen. So, let me try to push this little end in first. Might be a little hard to do at first. It is what it is. I could get it. So, there we go. Got that part in, and then just want to make sure that. Come on, get in there. There we go. So it's not as hard to do. This part's broken. There's nothing I can do, but there we go. Struggled a little bit, but there. So basically what I did for this part of the cage is I clipped this part in first. I leveled it here. I leveled it. Had this part sticking out. I had this part sticking out. Then I leveled it here. I leveled it here. Leveled the cage part onto the post. I had this part sticking out. Then I made sure to clip this in after I had this leveled. I clipped this in. Then I had this leveled. And then all I did is I just pushed this in right here. I just pushed this end in. And there we go. That was actually easier to do. Originally, it was harder because I had all the parts, I guess, mismatched and shit. And I didn't know what I was doing. But, yeah, that was so much easier, honestly. So much easier to put together. Again, if you're having trouble putting this together, mismatch some of the parts. Like I said earlier, this part was over here originally, then this part was over here originally, And then, again, sometimes level the parts as well, like the little pieces. Level them, and then try to stick the other end, and that's what I did. Another thing as well is if you got these little pieces, make sure you push those little pieces inside. You put those little pieces inside, and then, first make sure you got this leveled, and then as you got that leveled, push little pieces inside, and then work, on this side here. Or, again, if, this piece, it's broken, but again, push a little piece inside, it's broken. However, level this side. If it's harder to do on the one side, try to do it on the other, is what I'm trying to say. If it's hard to do on one side, do it on the other, and mismatch some of the pieces too, some of the cage pieces. That's what I did to make it help to go on. I think it can go on any way. Like, you can really put the cage on any way you want, but some parts are going to be hard to put on, in my opinion. Like, I remember, like, before I started this video, and I originally put the cage together, it was such a pain in the ass. But then I'm like, I know I can do it. It doesn't have to take me 25-30 minutes to put this together. There's no way. And again, what I did was I just mismatched some of the pieces. I took this piece again. That was originally from over here, and I took this piece, and, that was originally from over here, and I'm like, okay, this piece that was over here, I try to put this over there, then this piece that was over here, I try to put this over there, and then that's what I did. Then this piece originally, I tried to put over there, but it was really hard to snap into place, then I'm like, okay, well, let's take this piece that was originally over here, and this piece that was originally over here, let's, mismatch those, and that's what I did, and it was so much easier to do. But again, I think the reason why it's a little easier to do it like that is because, again, my ring is a little bit curved and a little bit shaped, and some of the turnbuckle posts, like you can see, I don't know if you can really see that, some of the turnbuckle posts don't even go all the way in my ring, by the way. They really don't, so I mean, maybe that's another reason why some of the turnbuckle posts don't even go all the way inside of my ring. But, besides that, that's really about it. That was so much easier to put together. Again, this is a little method if you're having trouble putting this together. Mishmash some of the pieces, work on one side, clip one side, work on one side, then try to do the other. If it's hard on one side, go do the other side of it, you know. But, besides that, that's really about it. That's what I did and everything. Anyways, like, comment, subscribe. Steel cage part, I actually figured out how to put it together a little easier. But, there we go. So, and again, this part's broken. There's really nothing I can do. This part's just a broken mess. What I'm thinking about actually doing is taking a zip tie maybe and zip tying that. I don't know. Since it's a little easier to take apart now and semi put together, you know, it's not going to be that hard to really put together now that I think of. Yeah, you still got to push the pieces in, but, you know, some parts of the ring, they're a little easier to push in than others too. But, that's really about it. See you guys later. So much easier to put together, too. So much easier. Let's work on my thumbs, too. I can actually move my thumb and everything. It's not fucking hurting like last time. But, that's really it. Like, comment, subscribe, ladies and gentlemen. So...